Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Wizards on Deck with Hannah Montana. So this was a trilogy of crossover episodes on Disney Channel with the shows Wizards of Waverly Place, The Sweet Deck of Zack and Cody, and Hannah Montana. This came back out in 2009, and I was ecstatic to see this because I was a huge Wizards of Waverly Place fan. Wizards is probably my all-time favorite Disney Channel show. Like, I've always been like a Disney like person, but around this time I think I really wasn't watching that much on Disney Channel other than Wizards, because when it comes to Disney Channel, the only things I really ever watched was Lizzie McGuire. I initially started to watch That's So Raven, but then I phased out. Kim Possible, but then I started phasing out. And then Wizards. And then for the longest time, I just didn't watch anything until like Jesse, I believe it is. And Stuck in the Middle. And of course, Bunked. I was actually bopping around the Nickelodeon around that time, watching things like iCarly and, True Jackson, but that's about it. Those were really the only two Nickelodeon shows I watched. But because, I was like an adult at that time, I was a couple of years out of college, and watching kids shows just wasn't my thing. But I started watching Wizards because I really, really like Harry Potter and witch-like TV shows and stuff. And so, this is actually a sequel to what was that called? That's So Sweet Life of Hannah Montana, which I've never seen still to this day. I was never a Hannah Montana fan, and I mean never. I never got into all that craziness that everybody else did. Plus, I couldn't stand Miley Cyrus acting at all. And I really just honestly can't stand her. She's such a bad girl. My God, she's such a bad girl. But and I just never watched, The Sweet Life because it was just two little boys and I didn't want to watch that. So however, I had seen one episode, well actually two episodes of The Sweet Life, but I never seen The Sweet Life on Deck or whatever it's called. And I seen one episode of Hannah Montana back in the day. So I knew who these people were. And for me, this was just a big thing because I'd never seen a Disney Channel crossover before, because this is probably the second one they've ever done, really. I don't think in none of their other shows in the past they've ever done that. Oh, and I used to watch Even Stevens. That's right. I used to watch Even Stevens back in the day with Lizzie McGuire. But then years later, I started watching That's So Weird. But I never watched it when it was in production and stuff. And so, yeah, this was a big thing because, it was really rare for any television show, any network to do crossovers with another. And I remember they used to do that in the 90s a couple of times, but not very often. So whenever there's a crossover, it's a big, big thing. Now, Power Rangers used to do crossovers within their own shows from different seasons. So those are really the only crossovers I ever really truly saw. And, of course, there was the Hercules and Xena one, but Xena started on Hercules, so that really wasn't that much of a crossover. But this was a big thing. And I'm just dude, how are they all going to interact with each other? What I'm saying? What the plot's going to be? Because, Wizards deal with magic, and the other two shows are not. So it's the possibilities of what the episode is going to be about. And this turned out to be the highest rated thing at that time. 9.3 million people watched. And it was just insane. You know what I'm saying? And this is probably I don't know. I don't know what the first crossover was like, so I don't know if that was better. I do like the Jesse crossover and stuff. That was pretty cool when they did the Christmas stuff. But this was just though Well, here's the thing. There's only two good episodes, in my opinion. The first two. Because there's a huge problem with this. When I started watching, it's so weird. Because it's like, okay, the first two episodes are true crossovers. You know what I'm saying? Like the Sweet Deck people and the Wizard people, they are interacting with each other. But you notice there's somebody kind of missing. Hannah Montana and her crew didn't show up until the second episode. And when they showed up, they only interacted with the Zach and Cody people, never the Wizards people. And I thought, that's kind of odd. And then when you get to the third episode pissed me off. And it pissed me off because the Wizards cast was nowhere to be found in the third episode. So I'm like, how the heck is this a crossover? It was basically nothing more but a Hannah Montana episode. And the Zach and Cody people just guest starred. And it was literally just a Hannah Montana episode where she's dealing with her Hannah Montana stuff, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, that's not a real crossover. It's just a Hannah episode. So I was furious. And I mean, I was furious. Because in the first two episodes, you had all the cast members interacting with each other that blended very, very, very well with each other. But then you get to that third episode and it's just Hannah being Hannah and stuff. And I'm just kind of like... So whenever I do watch this on DVD, which yes, this did come out on DVD, thank God for that, because you know Disney Channel, they hate putting their stuff out on DVD. Every time I do watch this on DVD, I just always skip the third episode because I feel like it's pointless. Plus, I just don't like Hannah Montana. And it's just a pointless episode because of the simple fact that it's not even a real I don't even consider it a real crossover and stuff. Like, that's just how furious I am. And I remember when this first came out, I recorded this on VHS. I was like all happy and excited and everything. They changed the theme song to integrate them all like together and stuff. However, on the DVD, you get your traditional theme songs and intros with the actual shows and not the integrated one. Same with streaming. In order to watch this on streaming, you'll literally have to watch all 3 episodes from each individual show. That is infuriating. Now, I know what you're probably asking. Why wasn't the Hannah and the Wizard cast interacting with each other? Because when you get to the Zach and Cody episode, the second one, Hannah and Lola show up, but they never once, not even a little, interact with the Wizards cast, not even in a passing by. And the reason for that, I'm all like, okay, something's gotta be up. Something's gotta be up. I bet you anything, this is a Hilary Duff, Lindsay Lohan, Aaron Carter type situation. And it was. Once again, you got 2 Disney Channel stars fighting over a boy. So basically, Miley Cyrus and Selena Gomez used to be friends. Pretty much a lot of people on Disney Channel are friends. Like Jake T. Austin, who plays Max, he's friends with the Sprouse brothers and stuff. And so a lot of people know a lot of people, right? And it was later confirmed by Jennifer Stone on that Wizards podcast, which the podcast is still up, but they no longer do it because something's going on with Christy Carson Romano's podcast thing, a Podco thing, and nobody knows what the heck is going on. I think she's rebranding or something like that. And so she basically spilled the beans. Basically, the 2 girls fought over Nick Jonas. So they used to be friends, and Selena Gomez even guest starred on Hannah Montana as a completely different character. I forget who. She was like a pop star or something like that. And so at some point in time, Miley Cyrus started dating Nick Jonas. I don't know which one's which Jonas brother. I just know what they look like. I don't know the individual names of who and who. But then they broke up. And then Selena started dating him sometime after that. Well, because of jealousy and everything, they just decided, yo, look, man, we ain't friends no more. You dated my ex. There's like a girl code. You ain't supposed to do that. Blah, 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 blah. And, stuff like that. So those two and their entire cast just did not interact with each other, which deprived fans of seeing them interacting. Because Michaela, that's it. That's who Selena played in Hannah. So it would have been interesting. She could have been all like, hey, you look like Michaela and everything. And then of course, something what's that dude's name? The little dude from Hannah Montana, Moises or something like that. Of course, he's in Hannah Montana, and he only appears as a cameo in the Hannah episode because he's not on the cruise ship. He's home with Jackson, and he doesn't even get to see the Wizards cast. But then, of course, the actor guest starred in the third season of Wizards of Waverly Place as a tutor instructor type person. So that would have been an interesting crossover. Disney does like guest stars all the time, and then they appear on each other's shows. They're completely different people. So this isn't like nothing new. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so because of that crap, they feuded and we missed out. And it totally sucks because it would have made you wonder what the episode would have been like. Now, about a decade later, Miley and Selena have made up, and now they're back to supposedly, I say supposedly being friends. You never see them take pictures together. And you know how Selena is with like her friends. Like, I like Selena Gomez. I like her a lot. And I do think people give her too much of a hard time. Sometimes it makes sense why people give her a hard time because she is how she is. And you know how she is with her friends. She does this thing where she just kind of like, it's odd. Like, she claims, oh, like, I'm so close with my friends, or I'm so close with my cast members. We're like real life family. But then once, like, Wizards ended, like, that podcast happened, they're all like, yo, we ain't heard or seen Selena in like forever. And I mean like forever. So once that got word out, then I think she talked to them and they did their funky hat song or something like that, because she has this thing where she'll be so close and claim she's so close with somebody, but then years later she kind of like ghosts them and stuff like that and other people. And then it's like the whole Demi Lovato, Taylor Swift thing, and so you never really know if they're truly friends or not. But she says those two are cool, so have to go by her word. One of the things I really, really, really enjoyed was that in the first two episodes, all the characters, like, they don't always interact with each other in both episodes. They split them up. So that's really great because, in the first episode, you have like Bailey and Alex hanging out. But then in the second episode, you have Alex and Zach hanging out. And I really do like how they split the cast up, interacting with different characters because it kept it fresh and new. However, the same cannot be said about the third episode, the Hannah Montana episode. In the Hannah Montana episode, is basically just Emily and Miley hanging out. The dad is there, the guys are there at home. So everybody is interacting who they normally interact with. And when it comes to that of the Zach and Cody cast, Zach hangs out by himself just to interact with, like, the Hannah cast. Then Mr. Mosley hangs out with Hannah a little bit. And then, like, what's his name? Cody and Bailey, they interact with Miley and or what's her name, Hannah, and stuff like that. And so it's basically everybody who normally hangs out with themselves on the Zach and Cody show is just doing their own thing. And not only that, but what's really sucky about it is like, remember how I said like the Zach and Cody people, the only ones in the Hannah Montana episode? The amount of screen time they got is ridiculous. The entire cast has a total of about 2 minutes of screen time. I kid you not. Everybody from the Zach and Cody show gets 2 scenes only. And those 2 scenes pretty much make up about 30 seconds. No, actually, crap, it's more than. No, wait. It's no way. It's not 2 minutes. Oh no, I'm trying to think. You know what? Maybe it is because yeah, because everybody gets around 30 seconds of screen time and everything, and it really sucks. And then, so it's like some get 30 seconds, some get a little bit less than that. And it's just kind of like, dude, this is not a real crossover. This is just like a cameo appearance and stuff. They got very little screen time that amounted anywhere from like 30 seconds to a little bit longer to that of a minute. And it's just like, what was the point in having her cross over if she's not even gonna be there? I get it. She's pissed at the Wizard people and stuff and Selena, but the Zack and Cody people, I don't think did anything to her. So, like, like, seriously, they just would have kept her out of the entire thing. It would have been better because they're supposed to go to Hawaii. She's supposed to perform, and you don't see none of the Wizards or none of, like, the Zack and Cody people in Hawaii at the concert. Not in the audience, not nothing. It was just a selfish move made by the people who created, like, the Hannah Montana show. Seriously, like, that was just a selfish thing. And also, I must pay respects because this actor sadly died from the Sweet Deck show. Rest in peace, Wendell Middlebrook. He died, I think, at 36 years old, from like blood clots and something in the lung and something with arteries, stuff like that. And it's so sad. He died way too young. And he was in 10 episodes of the Sweet Life on Deck. And he played like the security guard and stuff like that. And it was just so sad to see him die. So the first episode, Castaway to Another Show, is the Wizard episode. And it starts off with the Russo family being home and discovering that Alex has turned in 14 assignments and is in major trouble at school, to where the family wants to punish her by making her do extra assignments and stuff like that, or something like that. And her and Justin are like going back at it, which is always fun. And this was kind of the start of his jerkish phase, more so than that of season 1. In season 1, it was more like a playful jerk type thing. But by season 2, you kind of find out why he's so mean to her, because she's always picked on him since like she was younger, even though she's the middle child and stuff like that. So he's finding it hilarious that the person who does like school does like work the least have to go to like school during their off time, because it might be summer school or something like that, or it's around the summer or spring break, or it's something like that. And so like Justin gets a letter saying that his essay won him and his brother and sister on like a cruise ship to like go to Hawaii and see Hannah Montana and stuff like that. The kids are excited. Teresa was, but it found out it's just for teens. But the parents aren't gonna let Alex go. So while they're on the ship, we get to see that Teresa doesn't like big bodies of water or like being on a boat. And they find out that the cruise ship has a school. So they don't want Alex to find out, because if she finds out, then she'll like want to go trick them and everything, just so like pretending to go to school just so she can have fun, like a little vacation. So of course here she comes in and she already knows. She tricks her father with like pizza of all things, and ice cream. The actor David, how do you say his last name? Deluzzi or something like that? he stated that around this time in season 2, this is when the writers started to pick fun at his weight because he had started to gain weight. And it was always one joke after another about him always eating food. And this did start to become noticeable in season 2. And it really sucks that they did this, you know. But that's normally what they do with bigger characters. However, I'm glad they did not do it to the Harper character. Because that would have been even wrong because she was just a teenager, you know. So she already had her bags packed, whipped out her wand, and like, you know, brought them on. And this is going to be the first time because she only going to use her wand twice in this whole trilogy type thing. And so, like, we actually get to see her put it in her back pocket, which normally she does not keep it there. That's where Justin and Max keeps theirs. But because she's not wearing her traditional boots, she can't keep her wand there. And so, like, it turns out that, like, you know, the contest winners have to sleep in sick bay, the infirmary. Oh, sleeping in the infirmary and everything because, you know, they don't have enough room to put everybody. And so while there, Alex has, of course, she's gonna scheme because that's what that girl does. She's a bad girl and everything. And I was like, oh no, they're not gonna have Harper in this episode. That sucks. Because in season 2, Harper was missing for like a lot of episodes. And even in season 1, I think. No, season 1 she was missing in a lot. But then they started bringing her back for season 2. So Alex, you know, she brings Harper along via suitcase. And so, like, this is gonna be the last time she uses her wand. I wish they could have used that magic more, but of course they can't expose the magic and stuff. But so she's gonna pretend to be Ashley Olsen. Of all people, which is a funny gag and everything. And she wants Harper to pretend to be Alex and take her classes for her and stuff. So basically, she's just using Harper, which is what Alex does, as she has fun. But Harper doesn't care because she likes to learn. And we get to see Bailey and Alex hang out, and they make a really cool duo and everything. They're like playing tug of war, which I still don't understand how two skinny, toothpick looking girls are able to beat two huge guys with muscles. I don't understand that, but hey, whatever. And so they instantly bond and everything, and Alex just can't even remember her own like fake name, which is too funny that she calls herself Ashley Olsen. But it makes me wonder what like young person around that time knew who the Olsen twins were. Like, of course I did, because I grew up watching them on TV. But most older, but this was around the time they started like to stop acting and everything. So, but then when they said Ashley Simpson, that made more sense later on. And this is actually the first time I ever saw Debbie Ryan in anything, and I instantly became a fan. And of course, she went on to do Jessie. And you know, I remember when I saw her in this episode, I'm all like, she looks like a white, like Selena Gomez and everything, because they have similar facial features and stuff. And it's also really cool just to see Alex just like chill and hang out, have vacation, and just have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Now, Harper is hanging out with Cody, and they're just geeking out, being nerds, and talking about how they love to study and how kids pick on them and, you know, all that sad stuff because they're the nerdy ones of the show. But it's really cool to see those two, like, interact with each other. But, of course, Harper, like, gets all excited and spills the beans on Alex. Because when Mr. Mosby found out that she cheated playing, you know, he put her like on the cheaters list. So she's now exposed and got in trouble. Max is hanging out with Zach, and they're just doing goofy, stupid, like, you know, rocks for brains type things, because those two characters are literally mentally inept. Like, they literally have like rocks for brains. They're like drinking from a slushy, trying to see who can drink fast, but drinking from the same slushy don't make no sense. Then they're on like, you know, the suitcase carts, and they're like racing and stuff like that. And that's also what helps expose Alex when they knock over Bailey into the water and she's choking. And so, like, as for Justin, Justin completely surprised me in this episode. He lied to go on a date with London Tipton. And this is so unlike Justin, but he's always been girl crazy and always ended up getting the girls. Only problem is London doesn't want to date nobody who's poor. So Justin pretends to be a scientist, but she thinks he's a real doctor, but not like a scientist type doctor. And he's just straight up like lying to this girl, which is very shocking. By the way, her outfit looks amazing. The yellow dress, the white boots, and everything. They really styled those Disney kids up and everything. So, when talking to her, he realizes she's not very bright because when she went to go take a picture, as she likes to call it, the poor Russos, she had no idea that Dr. Falso and Justin are the same person. He didn't even change his appearance, just wore like a lab coat. So Max is kind of like, man, that girl is dumb, and that's coming from me. So when Justin tells Alex, even Alex is all like, dude, you gotta dump her. And so afterwards, Alex sends Harper home, and then it's the next episode. Double cross. So the Zach and Cody episode. So basically, Hannah has finally shown up, and she's secluded to her room the entire time for 5 days with Lola, aka Lily. And so they have to wear their wigs the entire time, but they want to go out and do stuff, but they can't because if they walk out as Miley and Lily, then people are going to know, who Hannah Montana is. And this is also a way to keep her away from like Selena. And so like as for like her role in this, basically, there's a scavenger hunt to get free tickets to see her concert because Cody lied and said that he had some but didn't. And so, like, with the cast now split up, you have Cody, Bailey, and whoever the dude is with the glasses, they're doing the scavenger hunt. And so, like, because he really likes her and he's hoping to impress her with those tickets that he lied and said he had for her. And so, basically, Bailey, she's just like a huge Hannah fan and wondering how she's gonna say hey to her and stuff like that. And so, like, as for the other kids, Max has a huge crush on London for some reason, and he exposes magic to her with a suitcase by pulling large objects out of it. And it's like, dude, you just exposed magic to London and everybody on the cruise ship, but everybody on the ship wasn't paying attention to him. And since London is beyond stupid in the head, she's not going to remember anyway. And so he's constantly just hitting on her and she just doesn't like it and just be like, look, man, I already dated like your brother. Like one Russo is enough for her. As for Justin, he doesn't do much in this episode. This is when I started to realize that David Henry has muscles. I could tell by his arms getting bigger in previous episodes, but you couldn't really tell until he went and like the dude is ripped. So he had his shirt off and he's in the pool. Alex, since she can't use magic, she used some type of blue dye that when it interacts with water, that like it turns a person's skin blue. So he's basically a Smurf the entire episode, except from like the neck up. So he's furious. Mr. Mosby, like whoever like done this, I'm gonna punish them. Alex is actually scared of Mr. Mosby. So Justin and Mosby, whatever his name is, they hang out, but you really don't get to see them hang out. They just hang out off screen. Trying her best to like evade him, she ends up in like Zach's room. And so it's basically her and Zach hanging out the entire time, but she is beyond disgusted by his room because it's worse than Max's room. And there's a huge smell odor that makes you go blind. So he's crushing on her and she's just repulsed by the entire thing. So he wants to clear his name because Mr. Mosby believes it's him. But he's going to figure out who it is, but he doesn't know that it's literally Alex. This is a fun little pairing and everything because they're so polar opposite and stuff. But then later on, like, Cody, no, Zach assumes that it was Cody that framed him. So he ruins the scavenger hunt for Cody. And as they're about to go at it and everything, they realize something that, like, it was actually Alex the entire time because somebody blamed her. No, it was Justin that blamed her, and she's all like, Mr. Mosby has been very kind to us, and we're his guests. And she tried to like scurry away really fast. Where Zach realized, wait, that's what he does when he gets in trouble. So Justin exposed her hand, and it was blue. She gets punished for this, and later on, Cody, told Bailey, oh, I know Hannah Montana. Like, cake fell on me and she ate it off me one time. So he tries his best to re-jog her memory, but she doesn't remember until later on when I think cake was like on him like a second time or something was on him a second time. And she remembers she ate cake on off of him from that first crossover they did years ago. So she gives them with like backstage like tickets and like tickets to the concert and VIP type stuff and all this other stuff, but she's creeped out by Bailey, which is totally hilarious. Ugh. Then we get to the third episode. All right, so this third episode, basically Jackson and whoever the long haired dude is and Aries is like, they hang out at home alone, loving it. But then the dad ordered like a package. They decided to open it. It's some type of inflatable thing, and they're pressed up against the wall. Ugh. Anyway, as for Miley, Hannah herself, her and Lily are walking about, but then Miley realizes she lost her mom's anklet. So because of that, she gets a string of bad luck. Some of the bad luck we see and some of it we don't. And like she ends up losing her wig, so she just can't leave as Miley. She could technically walk around as Miley and nobody would know as long as they don't see her come out the room. But anyway, they decide to dye her hair blonde, and it turns out green. And so her and just Lola are bickering over and over and over again. The dad is seasick and everything, but he looks hungover. And so it turns out London found the anklet. Because Mr. Mosby, somebody turned to the Mr. Mosby because apparently Miley left it in her sock. The maid gave it to Mr. Mosby, and then London just stole it because it was gold. But when Hannah tells her, hey, yo, look, man, it's mine, she's all like, well, why don't you make a song called Gay Me? Or it's just her catchphrase and everything and all this other crap, but she wants to keep it. But basically, Hannah's basically like, oh, the diamonds are fake, which grosses out London. She throws it overboard. Now her anklet's gone. She's sad. She's depressed. She doesn't want to, like, do the concert because she's so depressed. This upsets Cody and like Bailey, and she's basically acting like, oh, I understand why she's upset. It's the last one thing her mom had before like she passed away. So it's sentimental and it means something to her. So I totally understand why she's upset because, I don't know when her mom died because I never watched the show, but, to cancel the concert because of that and other stuff is just very selfish. But her dad reminds her that your mom is always going to be in your heart and all this other stuff. So that little pep talk, of course, cheered her up. She did the concert. We hear a little bit of the concert, but not the rest of it. They didn't even gift us with like a full song and everything. We didn't get to see no part of like fake Hawaii or anything like that. It was just a dumb, pointless episode that did not tie in with the rest of like the trilogy. So this, like I said before, this was, it's weird calling this a trilogy, but anyway, it was a fun little crossover and everything, It was really cool to like see everybody, well, most of everybody hang out, interact with each other, because that's something you never really get to see on Disney Channel shows, because they rarely do crossovers. And it's really cool to see how like the Wizards and the Zack and Cody crew like mesh so well together. Can't say the same for the Hannah Montana crew, but like it was just stupid of them to fight over a boy and completely selfish to like even Justin could have been in that episode. Like Selena didn't have to, but I guess they wanted to stand in solidarity with like their cast member. but still, it was just a bunch of stupid stuff that they was fighting over a boy. Neither one of them are even with today and stuff. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.